Hi everyone, it's Lisa Brown with InkandInspirations.com. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I wanted to show you I've been working with the Christmas Gleaming Bundle with this stamp set and these two coordinating punches. And I really wanted to make a card for you that was not too, pretty simple stamping, easy to put together. If you're going to make a lot of cards, what could you do? And I was struggling. I wanted to use this Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly. Thought it was so cute. I'd used the other sentiments already and thought I haven't used this one yet. I want to use that one. Well, I have to show you what I came up with in the process before I got to my final card. So the first one, let me move this out of the way. The first one is this one. Okay, so it's cute, okay, but this is the snowman paper, and I just didn't like what that was doing for all of this going on here, okay? I think I would have been better with a more simple background here, but there's my Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly, and here's the ornament. I mean, cute, but it wasn't doing it for me, okay? So, okay, went back to the drawing board. So then I came up with this, okay? This is a little more simple design, but on these holly sprigs, I was coloring them with Real Red and spruce markers and coloring and then stamping and then coloring and then stamping. And I thought, okay, that's okay if I'm going to make a few cards, but not if I'm going to make quite a few of them. So, I mean, cute. And if you have the time, that's fine, but it still wasn't what I was going for. So I was looking and thinking and going through my supplies, and I thought, I know that we have some holly designer paper. So I found this print in the, what is this called? Santa Claus? Goodness. It's the Night Before Christmas, the Night Before Christmas stack, okay, with the Santa and everything, that theme going on, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. And so I came up with something that's fairly quick and easy, and here's the finished card, okay? So let me just show you what I came up with in putting this together. What I did is I got into my cabinet and I got out my Whisper White note cards and envelopes, okay? So here my card base is already done for me. I'm just gonna fold that in half. So then I knew I wanted to use this, but this comes in 6x6. So I wanted to at least get 2 pieces out of the one sheet of designer paper, the 6x6. So I cut this one 3x4. And then I decided to back this one with 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 to just put like that, okay? Now you can see this one, I went larger. And I thought, I want that a more compact look where it's framing that out. And so I decided to bring it down and make it smaller, just 1/4 inch bigger on all the sides. So here I'm looking for my glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and, no, I'm not. That's another thing, the ribbon, okay? So I could put the ribbon around both of this together, but I decided to just put it around the holly. And so I'm taking some of the diagonal stripe ribbon, and this is also in this suite. I keep wanting to say Christmas time is here. The Night Before Christmas. And so I'm just going to tie this on, and I leave it on the spool so I don't cut it too long, and make just a simple knot. Okay, so I'm going to trim that off. And this all came from me wanting to use that Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly with some holly in the background for the sentiment. So, it should not have been that hard. But it was like, I make something and I thought, that took me a little bit too long for what I was aiming for. So this worked perfectly. And so I would be able to get several cards from these sheets of designer paper in that stack. So now I am going to I'm going to go ahead and mount this on the card front. And that's just our liquid glue. And I'm going to center that top to bottom. Okay, so that's ready to go. So now let me get the main image here, what I'm going for. So I'm just using a scrap piece of Whisper White. It's not really a scrap, it's a quarter sheet of cardstock. And I decided to go ahead and stamp the holly, and I'm using the Cherry Cobbler and Old Olive markers. Now, if you buy the Regals collection, not the whole 100 and whatever there are of the, I say 100, it's over $100 for all of the Stampin' Right markers. But if you can just buy a section at a time, the Regals is a good one to start with, especially this time of year. Because we have our red and our Cherry Cobbler and some greens in there, and also the pumpkin pie. So good set of markers to start with if you're buying them by color family. So I'm using the side of the Old Olive marker to color the leaf, and you just have to brush it over. You know, you don't have to be real deliberate about it. Just brush it over and it picks up the image. So now let's do the holly berries. Okay, that's done. And then I'm going to take this and stamp it. Then what I did is took my Wink of Stella pen. That might be my older one. Let's see if this one works. And I'm just blending that color with the Wink of Stella marker. Okay, so marker, the brush, the glitter brush. So there you go. You can see it pulls some of that Old Olive into the leaf. Let me pick this up a little bit. And it doesn't mess up your marker or your glitter brush. Okay, so then I'm going to take it, just to be sure I don't have green on it somewhere, brush it off, and then go over here to the holly berries. And you see how easy that is? And it's so pretty with the glimmer. Okay, right, so now I thought, okay, let's use punches. So I've got my 2-inch circle punch out and centered that. Like that, and I'm moving it where I have quite a bit of white space on one side, and you'll see why in a minute. My sentiment's going to be more toward that side. So I'm punching, and then I need a piece of Cherry Cobbler, which I thought I had out, and I'm going to punch a Starburst punch from that. Okay, but first, before I apply that, I'm going to hold that just like that. I've got my sentiment that I wanted to use. I'm going to get my Cherry Cobbler ink pad, which you could use the marker, but to make it a little quicker, I decided to pull the ink pad out. Ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that over here toward the left. And a little tip, if you're trying to stamp white on white, you want to know where the edge, that grid paper behind it didn't enable me to see the edge of the circle. So I'm putting my silicone mat behind it, and I'm going to stamp right over here. There you go. Okay, so you can read the sentiment very easily. And then I'm going to apply it to the Starburst punch. Like that. Okay, so now let me get my card back over here. I'm going to close this up before we have a disaster. And I'm just going to put this right there in the center. And I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for that. So let's do about 3. And I was so happy to finally get this card with this particular sentiment done. And I don't know, it just was, it was a struggle for me. So just so you know, it happens to all of us. Okay, here we go. All right, so now for the inside, it says deck the halls with boughs of holly, and then I'm going to stamp and be jolly this season. I'll try to get this fairly straight on my block. Okay. There you go. And then I had this scrap left over, and I thought, why not put that on the inside of the card and give it a little bit of color and bring that holly theme on through. There you go. Now, you see there's still a little bit of ink there of that cherry cobbler and old olive. I'm going to take my envelope. I'm going to take this stamp and blow on it. That moistens the ink again. Okay, and I'm going to stamp it on the corner of my envelope here. And it gives a very faint little image, but super cute. All right, and so there you go. That's a Christmas card ready to go. I got my sentiment on the front like I wanted with the holly in the background. And I wanted to show you another option in the Wrapped in Plaid Designer Series paper stack. There is this holly print as well. Okay, so it may not be a big deal to you about this sentiment and using it with holly, but for me, it was what I started. I had it in mind, what I wanted to do, and I had to go through the process of the design and matching and not making it too overwhelming. So you see, here are the 3 cards. Okay, and I'll still use all of them, but this is more of what I was going for. So I hope that in some way helps you. If you have any comments or questions about these cards, let me know. I love to hear them. And so thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.